Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
This is the Red Kingdom Media Live POSTGAME Show.
It is a late one for you tonight, folks, but this Week 14 edition of the Red Kingdom Media Live postgame show is a happy one as the Chiefs are able to escape Arrowhead this evening with a final score of 19-17, with a doink going in the Chiefs' favor, as the Chiefs field goal doinks love to do. This is the Chiefs' 9th straight AFC West title, so all the pomp and circumstance out of the way there. The Chiefs have done something that seems historic. The Chiefs had barely won the AFC West prior to Andy Reid coming into the picture, and for almost a full decade now, since 2015, your Kansas City Chiefs are on the mountaintop in terms of the AFC West, and they continue to battle through, trying to reach this repeat. It wasn't pretty, but the outcome was what the Chiefs were hoping for, and they were able to kind of put a bandage on the areas of the concern that they've had for the past month, frankly. And if you can hold off a divisional opponent like the Chargers, you got a case that the Chiefs can maintain this. But what do you guys have to say about this? Of course, all that being said, the Chiefs are atop in the AFC, and the Buffalo Bills deciding to blow a game to the other Los Angeles team in the Rams. The Chiefs have an outright first overall seed for the AFC and are 2 games ahead of Buffalo now, and that tiebreaker not as meaningful with that Bills victory, as long as the Chiefs can maintain a win-loss record that maintains that first round bye, and I think the Chiefs would love to have that. So, guys, AFC West title, how do we feel?
Hey, we got it. Not the way that we actually probably wanted to see it, but it happened. So we clinched the playoffs last week. We clinched the division this week, and we got ourselves in the driver's seat going forward, especially with the Bills losing against the Los Angeles Rams earlier today. So we win the next 3 out of 4 games. We're going to clinch the first seed, and honestly, this is something that the Chiefs team actually need. Not saying that we're not going to be prepared when it comes to the postseason, but it has been some challenges for us, of course, what we have seen for the entirety of the season. Now, overall, with the performance from tonight, I did like what I saw from the first half. We definitely could have did more offensively. I think we could have pulled some more, had some better play calling. You see Rod is in the chat right now, and he's on his rant for fire Matt Nagy. I get that. I understand. I can see the frustration, but we also have to put some blame on Andy Reid as well too, because we keep on going between this argument of we saying it's Matt Nagy or it's the offensive coordinator when it's not looking good for the Kansas City Chiefs, but then we're praising Andy Reid when it is something that's significant that's going on and is looking great for them as well too. So I think overall you do have to go ahead and put both the blame on them. But I will say, and something I have been saying from the beginning of the season. Glenn, I know you and your mom was mentioning this earlier, like this team is worse from last year, like for real, like truthfully. But when I see it, it's like we do got better weapons at least, right? And DJ Humphries, he was getting beat up a little bit, but he had his moments that he looked great as well too. And I think that's something to work off of. I wish he didn't, of course, have that hamstring injury at the end of the game, and Wanye came in and did what he had to do. But if we can figure out on that offensive line, because I'm not gonna lie, and I was the main one who was saying it before we was talking about the tackles. But sometimes when you look at it, the entire offensive line is getting obliterated. Like they're getting pressure up the middle. They're making Mahomes had to scramble within the pocket. So I think as a collective overall, Mahomes, don't give them nothing for Christmas this year, but like, hey, wake up, because y'all know I usually take care of y'all. Y'all not doing it this year. And I'm not going to go ahead and blame one position at that as well, too. This is a collective. This is a group. So y'all going to have to do this as a team. Just like if we take a loss, it's as a team as well, too. So as a whole, like, y'all have to get it together and figure it out. Now, when we're able to have time in the pocket, they're able to get downfield. Xavier Worthy came in looking like Rashid Rice in certain moments, getting those clutch first downs, and then they was able to cap it off with Travis Kelce as well. So it's like it's there. But we have time to figure out before the postseason. And especially if we get this first seed as well, too, we get that bye. You have guys like Hollywood Brown who's supposed to be back, coming Christmas Day. So we're going to get more weapons back within this game, but we have to figure it out, and we have to have some time in the pocket, and we need to stop getting away from the run game as well, too. But defense, they did well in the first half. They gave up a little bit in the second half. Joshua Williams going out, and then Najee Johnson had to come in. You see what start happening from there. Joshua Williams was actually having a decent game, and it wasn't really too much that was going on. But the pressure started not getting there in the second half, and then you start seeing Justin Herbert dial up. So we got to find ways when we're not, sending any blitzes or we doing any stunts. We need to get pressure with our front forward so we can be able to keep the offense on their heels. But overall, we got the dub. We got away 9th straight season with the division title. Hey, I can rock with it, and we 12-1. We still going forward.
Yeah, so I think obviously the Chiefs showed that the problems still exist on both sides of the ball, no matter what it is, whether it be in the secondary or whether it be the offensive line. We know DJ Humphries is coming off of an injury, so he didn't have his best game. He was trying to get his legs up under him. You hope for no soft tissue injuries like we've seen, no pulled hamstrings, no pulled quads, any of that stuff. But unfortunately, you see he pulls up with the hamstring injury late in the game just because it's probably just conditioning. You asking somebody that was sitting on the couch for an entire season to come in and play left tackle, starting left tackle against one of the two better pass rushers in the league, probably two of the best pass rushers in the league with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. And he was serviceable. He did what he needed to do today for us to get a win. And even Wanye, shout out to Wanye coming in there and holding it down for those last couple snaps because I think the Chiefs has created a little bigger problem for themselves going into these next couple matchups, facing to the likes of Myles Garrett and TJ Watt and Highsmith, all of those guys, and how they have a tackle with with the hamstring injury, and they have to go to the backup tackle, of course. So the problem doesn't get any better. It only gets worse from here. So I'm happy to see that they figured it out. It was an ugly win, not a pretty win whatsoever. I think the Chiefs have gotten away from running the ball for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but they don't want to run the ball, especially in 3rd and short. I don't know why we drop it. I know I love to see Mahomes throw the ball, and I love to see him ad-lib, but when we in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, run the ball when they know you're going to run the ball. Like, it shouldn't matter. You should just be running straight ahead. And then I seen they started to do that late in the game, and they got first downs with Pacheco, even with that little fullback dive that they run. So I just don't know where Andy Reid's head is sometimes when it comes to calling some of these plays, because he has to okay things before they go out to the Patrick Mahomes. So I don't really want to put too much of the blame on on Matt Nagy or anybody else, because the head man is okaying it before it goes out there to Patrick Mahomes. So I don't know where it is and what's going on, where we don't trust the run like we should, but for whatever reason we decide to go away from it. And then on defense, I just don't trust those guys like I used to. I feel like we're playing cardiac kid football here, sitting on the edge of our seats, just kind of waiting for everything to kind of viciously collapse, which it looks like in so many games it's about to, and the Chiefs just find a way to win. So I think the Chiefs are fighting for the first number 1 seed to try and get back healthy to make a deep postseason run. I think they need that. They're coveting that more than what I think we understand on all three of us on this podcast, because you can tell they're just kind of playing like it. They're limping their way to certain victories and just kind of trying to get by to the point to where they can get into the postseason and kind of get through for the rest of the season. So I'm not happy with what I've seen today at all from the Chiefs, but I'm kind of expecting them to be a little bit better. Hopefully they get better coming down the stretch, because they got some good defenses. The defense is only going to get better.
Agreed. In this game, much like the original Chiefs-Chargers matchup at the beginning of the season, was a very defensive game from start to finish. Neither team could get 300 yards of offense. With both those quarterbacks, I mean, Herbert didn't even get 200 yards passing, or just a little bit over this game, about 210 each. So, there wasn't a lot, but when the throws were open, boy, that is where it became obvious where the red flags were on for both defenses, really, and that's why this became the close matchup that it did. Going into halftime, of course, the Chiefs were up 13-0. And all was well, and the blowout was set, but the Chargers, right out of halftime, came up with back-to-back 14 points, and then it became a slugfest of trading field goals to end the fourth quarter. So it's very clear, especially these divisional matchups, and I pretty much said this was going to be the case before this game happened, that like these under 20-point games, if you think that we're going to be getting these high scores, it's just the margins are too close, and the wins are too ugly to achieve. And unfortunately, as fans, you have to just kind of accept it. And as the team itself, they will accept the win because wins are tough. Many people in the chat have already pointed out. Mahomes got sacked 3 times this game, which is arguably an improvement over the last 4 weeks because at least it's not 5 sacks. And DJ Humphrey's just starting to get his track, but arguably did better than Wanye in any of the matchups that we've seen over the last couple weeks anyway. Was not getting beat as quickly, and I have been seeing it over the course of this season so far, and I'm glad that you guys are starting to see it too, that it's not just that left side, it's the entire pocket being collapsed. There's times he wants to take up and run up the middle and he gets tackled from behind. There's times he wants to roll out a certain direction and we know that he favors the right side, and he starts to do that, but by that point the defenders downfield have already bracketed on the receivers, and then there's nobody to throw to. So for me, this was definitely the defense got to be the number one thumbs up talking point about this game, and even then I'm still not satisfied with their performance. So do you think we save this best for last in the defense and get this offensive talk out of the way, or do we stick on topic?
All right, we go ahead and start with the offense. No matter. I mean, I will say, we need to pick up the attitude though, at least, because for real, everybody keep on talking down on the teams that we playing, and these are playoff teams that we are playing as well too. And we're not the only ones looking bad. They're looking just as bad as well. So I'm going to put that out there. We need to chill out. Because
the Panthers
really
are playing hard against every team, even though they're not winning. And the Browns
really
are going to be no tough task next week.
We were just talking about that too.
We're
Carolina
going to get the win on Cleveland, but they're going to make us not happy in the post game again, because why was it a 3-point win against a team that has 5 wins this time?
I will say this, Clayton. We got the excuse because we have been dominating the league, honestly, since Patrick Mahomes went in. He lost in the first AFC Championship game. He came back and won the Super Bowl. He lost 2 times after that, but his floor was the AFC Championship game. You went back to back. Everybody tired of him doing spectacular things and winning games. What's the excuse for these other teams? Josh Allen, yeah, he's putting up 40 points. He put up 40 points and lost. That's how we looked in 2018 when we did that as well, too. We lost to the Rams. They put it on us as well, too. And you lost. And what happened in that AFC Championship game? I'm not tripping because y'all are catching us. Everybody is giving us their best. Carolina went out there against the Eagles, Saquon over there jumping over people and having a great time, they only put up 22 points. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
See, but I get what you're saying though, as far as the league being in chase mode. But I get where Clinton is coming from too, because we live in a time we live in a time where it is, what have you done for me lately? Clinton shares the sentiments of a million of other season ticket holders like himself that are using their hard-earned money to give their funds to the team to go
Lonnie,
sit out there and watch something. But listen to where I'm coming from though. So he's just sharing. He's just sharing the same sentiments of, I feel like, the rest of Chiefs Kingdom, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what people are feeling like. An average fan is going out there and watching those games. They understanding what you're saying. Josh Allen and them, they are chasing us, right? But they want to see you playing from in front. They don't want to see you struggling to win a game. I'm just saying, being that you play so much good football, I feel like it hurts Mahomes when he plays bad football, because they seen so much good that when you play bad, it's gonna stand out like a sore thumb every single time. They're so used to you throwing for 400. He set his bar up here, and now anytime he does anything less than that, it's like it's a failure.
But y'all see, I'm always in the middle, and I think that's where a lot of people are frustrated. I acknowledge that as well too. But you said what have you done for me lately type of league. What have we done lately for them? Win 12 damn games and only lost one. While we're tripping, they lost 12 games and clinched the division and was the first team to clinch the playoff. All I'm saying is, if they lose, okay, they losing when it comes to the postseason. But if they win, and they win it all, I want y'all, what y'all saying right now, don't be on my bed rag. Leave me alone. I'm there by myself. Y'all over here. Y'all wanted them. Y'all called them out early. So I'm saying, I'm on this wave by myself, Mr. Optimism. Pessimistic folk, leave me alone. All right? We got it. Now let me shut up. Like, for real, I'm just ranting right now. And that's all it is, for real. Because really, it's I'm trying to find something good. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. Y'all know I can't say nothing about it.
So if I'm being real right now, it's because it feels like Super Bowl 55 year right now. Like, we're just going through the motions. We ended up 14-2 that year, and then we lost the last game of the season because it was a game that didn't matter against a divisional opponent. And the only other game we lost was against the Raiders, and they celebrated. And then we get to the Super Bowl and we lose in that fashion. And it's like, that's the game where we finally get exposed. That's kind of what I see, and that's kind of what I'm most afraid of, and why every week I ask, hey, let's finally pick it up. Hey, let's finally give a let's care about this. And never do. So they care enough to want the win, but I argued, I made the joke about it for making a video for Chiefs content. I can make the joke for going inside the Chiefs stadium. Don't bother going in there until midway through the third quarter, because what's the point? The Chiefs don't care yet. I mean, sure, they would love to be winning the game at that point. They may love to have the lead, but they don't consider it the game until the fourth quarter, and that's when they actually start trying. And even then, right now, it's a half effort of attempts, because they're still hashing things out. Obviously, we would hope that they would be more fleshed out in your plan and have your left tackle picked out and all your weapons that you're going to showcase other than Travis Kelce. Xavier Worthy got more of the spotlight, but even then, there was just not enough receptions to go around this game. So it's clear that the offensive line is becoming the main talking point about this offense, and that's unfortunately never a good thing. They need to fade in the background and become unnoticeable. So obviously we're hoping that next week that can happen, but you guys have brought up Myles Garrett and the slew of pass rushers that the Chiefs have on the schedule the rest of the way. So it doesn't get easy, and they're just going to have to keep going through adversity. And like you said, we're just going to have to be fine with winning these games in the last possible seconds. You know, our health maybe doesn't like that. The people around us, our neighbors or family members or whatever, may not like that. But unfortunately, that's how the Chiefs like winning games. You know, you already called out my mom saying they look worse this year than last year. I mean, I can call her out personally. She's texted me in the third quarter, like in the third quarter after the Chargers start winning, it's getting into the fourth quarter. She's like, "Are you still there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still here." She's like, "Why? They suck right now." I'm like, "I mean, you're not incorrect, but they'll do something cheesy and pull it out. I just know that happens." It's
See,
like, how do you know? Because it happened last year, and
Mhm.
they look like they thought they looked worse last year than this year. Because you're right, they have a lot better targets, and hopefully another one or two start joining the fray here in the next couple weeks, and the offense can improve even more so as CJ Humphrey starts to get his footing in this offense. Sorry, Lonnie, go ahead.
but to your point about you said that the game doesn't start till the third quarter. Collinsworth, you weren't able to see the TV broadcast. He said that the Mahomes record when trailing in the game was like, I think if I'm not mistaken, there was like 25-24. They was like, if he wins this game,
25 and 26, so he had
25 and
500 now.
26. Well, like he'll be 500 if he was to win that game. He went on to win the game when trailing in the game. So basically, what Clinton said is valid. It is very valid. The game does not start until he gets punched in the mouth and he's losing the game. And he's like, all right, I need it. I got to have it. Like, we are rarely playing from ahead. So I feel like that's what brings on the pessimism too. I think, Dale, we are the cardiac kids, and we have been since he's been here. We've gone down 10, whether it be 20, whatever it is. And it's like, okay, now it's time for me to play ball. It's never me up ahead, me
The
up
last
by
year,
20, and the team coming back on him. So I feel like he caused that a little bit himself. Mahomes with his caused the pessimism.
I mean, and somebody mentioned too. They said, the offensive line got exposed in that bus game, and that's what it started. Is with the offensive line. They got exposed in the Bengals game early on, and they've been toughing it out for 9 straight weeks. So if we're gonna speak facts, we're gonna speak it to that point to where it's been going on for a long time. I think where some people get irritated with me, some with the optimism, is like, we are so far in the season now, and y'all didn't even make no moves in the trade deadline. And the only thing you can do is go out and get DJ Humphries for $4.5 million towards, week 12, week 13 in the league right now. Well, week 11, somewhat like that, right? What else can we do but live with what we got? I'm not gonna sit here and just cry. It's like we gonna acknowledge that it's trash, but I just got to applaud Mahomes and company for at least working it out for 12 wins and winning the division and clinching the playoff. When it comes to playoffs, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. We're not going to know until we get there. But what's different from that 2020 year is we acknowledging it before the before the Super Bowl, because everything broke down in the AFC Championship game. We see the issue now. Now, why do we not have more 3 tight end sets? Why do we not help out the left tackle at most? It got to be a reason where we're not doing something offensively where they're not getting open, and we have to have as many weapons out there to create those opportunities. But we're going to have to focus going into this last portion of the season, especially with some of the games that we have right now. 3 wins gets us the first seed. So you have to pull it out for these next couple games. Now, I will want the offense to be able to improve and do a lot better, but they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure something out now, because you basically said this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to work with for the remainder of the season, and that's it. So now you have that in the midst of trying to go for a 3-peat. Now, if you're able to pull this off, you're going to have a lot of people, giving you your flowers and maybe saying this might be the greatest dynasty that they have seen. If we lose, we're going to give them a lot to talk about, saying that we knew they wasn't going to do this. They've been frauds the whole time. You got something that you can work off of. So if you're a team that, hey, you like a lot of doubters, this is a perfect opportunity to go into the postseason like last season and say, shut up, for the Kansas City Chiefs. We know it's bad. We know it's bad. But if any team that can work through it, it got to be them, bro, because they already proved it once.
Agreed. And kind of off kilter point here, that a lot of the talks amongst Chiefs Kingdom and coming for this off season was you feel like the Chiefs at this point are going to have to make a decision in who they want to retain, if they want to keep Trey Smith or Nick Bolton. And if the offensive line troubles continue, I don't think the Chiefs want to justify paying money to another player on that line just to have the same type of output that they're having right now. And that's not to say that Trey Smith deserves any or all the blame for how the O-line is playing. But if the offensive line is not a strong point for the Chiefs at this point, and they already have a player on that offensive line making zero money, why would they then want to turn and give that player super money if they are seeing the current results now, if all he's going to do is be a year older? So just something to consider. And that comes off this game where Nick Bolton had himself a sack and got the flash on the stat sheet and on the TV as well. And that could start swaying that decision a little bit. I'm not advocating that, the Chiefs let Trey Smith walk or anything. I'm just saying, how the rest of the season goes may indicate how drastic the Chiefs may feel like they need to be on their offensive line and how many changes they need to make.
Yeah, if they let Trey Smith go, he'll be maxed out by another team for sure. I'm just going to put that out there right now. Trey Smith will be the highest paid guard in the NFL next year. I promise. If he hits the free agent market, he will be the highest paid guard in the NFL next year.
At least they get a 4th round pick and can try to do a L'Jarius Sneed again.
Yeah, they better do something because he's gonna get paid. If the Chiefs don't pay him, he's gonna get paid.
And before we transition to honestly, I do think that I will say this: we're collectively blaming the offensive line. But if this is one of the groups that in the interior that they were one of the better groups, I will say, being someone who played and seeing how the chemistry goes, is once one area starts to be drastically, they're playing bad, it does affect everyone else, because at that moment they're focused on how they can help them out, and you're trying to shift your focus and figure out how you're going to align and be able to pick up those type of moments. So you're too focused on what they're doing over there and trying to make sure he's good, and you still got to worry about what you have to do here in your role, in your position. So I will say, for the offensive line going forward, hey, they're going to have to figure it out. You're going to do your best to keep them on, make sure they're getting the calls and everything like that. But you still got to focus on your assignment, because if you do your assignment right, we can figure out how we're going to make sure they play better as well too. And we all know what it is. You might have an extra guy over there sometimes, or you're going to have to chip in there like that. But you have to focus on your assignment, because it's going to make everything worse for the entire offensive line when you're focused on someone else who's messing up. We got to work as a team. Can't keep on doing that.
No doubt. All right. So let's go ahead and try to find some positive notes about this offense and who we liked and who can improve going into next week. But I got to give the MVP to Matthew Wright, because 4 for 4, you got to doink against a divisional rival, but still go in. So that way, I was literally thinking to myself and to my fellow seatmates, because they wanted to let the ball go down to the very end and kick the field goal. And there was something in my gut telling me that this kick seems a little sketchy. I don't know what it is. They got the first down. They were able to get 10 yards closer. And I still was like, okay, we should be all right. It doesn't mean like it's a gimme, because obviously we've seen kicks in Arrowhead not always go through when they're supposed to go through. It could have happened the other way to the Chiefs. That is how karma works, back and forth type thing. But was able to drill the doink and go 4 for 4 for field goals, and of course was the difference maker in this game, where the Chiefs could barely muster any offense whatsoever. So giving their kicker the flowers. Shout out Justin Reed for being the kickoff kicker for this game. You never got to lay the boomstick, but maybe next week that may be a possibility. I'm not sure exactly when Harrison Butker is set to make his return, but shout out to the kickers that we've been rotating out there, because they've been getting the job done. And most of the time, if they're not a star kicker in the NFL, you're a little nervous. Just look at Justin Tucker right now in this year and the collapse that he's going through. So, guys, who are your offensive standouts?
Yeah, so I'm gonna give mine. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Isaiah Pacheco. He's gonna be my offensive standout. Pop doing pop like things. The energy is contagious with Pacheco. I don't think it's the way. I don't think it's how many yards he gets on the run. I don't think it's if he's hitting the hole right. I just think it's the way he runs the ball. I think that is infectious for the Chiefs. That energy goes such a long way for the Chiefs. And those extra little bursts, I think our offense was definitely missing. And I think he's going to be the reason if we three-peat, it's going to be on the back of Mr. Isaiah Pacheco, number 10. I didn't understand how important he was to the team until he wasn't playing with us and he was out and injured. But now seeing that he's back in uniform and back being himself, being the number one starting back, you could just see the difference. Like that man brings juice when he comes in and he's running the ball. So really shout out to the entire running back room, Samaje Perine too, breaking the tackle, getting nasty in there on third down, making some guys miss, picking up a key third down. So shout out to the whole RB room. I think down the stretch, that's who we're gonna rely on, and that's who's gonna get us through these games and get us wins. So shout out to Mr. Isaiah Pacheco coming back and setting the tone.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be scared to be cliche. I'm gonna give it to Pat. He did his thing. He came in and clutch like he's supposed to at all times. He figures out the way to get downfield and put, give us the opportunity to put points on the board. And also he didn't turn over the ball as well too. At moments he could have probably threw an interception, right? But he knew that it was an offsides jump. He had a free play down the field, but he has been, tactical and thoughtful about what he has been doing, going down the stretch. And even though it's not flashy, he's not throwing over 300 yards. I think just like Rod said in the chat as well too, having that dog in him is the reason why we're in the position that we are at right now, and that's what separates us from every other team in the league as well too, and something that we didn't have in the past. We didn't have a quarterback that would will himself to a win. So if you need to do it with his feet, if you need to do it with his arm, he was able to figure out. So shout out to Mahomes for getting us downfield, connected to your favorite target, Travis Kelce, and setting us up to get that last second field goal to go ahead and win the game.
Agreed, and I'm giving it to Xavier Worthy. He's slowly stepping up. He is officially, I think, taken the most snaps for a wide receiver in the Chiefs offense, and back-to-back years the Chiefs have utilized a rookie wide receiver to a level that we never would have considered, because every other time the Chiefs have tried to attempt that, it has been a slow grind or just no production whatsoever. So it's nice to see that he has been incrementing in this offense more and more. I think next couple of weeks he'll probably stand out even more and start to spotlight himself. Of course, there was another shot that wasn't, and I think towards the end of the season, he and Mahomes are going to be on that wavelength that they need to be, where you could just chuck it up and find him, because he knows he's got speed. He just has to figure out where he's going to be on the field. And I think Xavier could stand to take some of Travis's improvisation or just get to the spot or use his speed and quickness, and not just for fluid speed and acceleration, but be able to refine his route running, so that way Mahomes can place the ball exactly where he needs to be and find Xavier where he is supposed to be. But I liked his slow progression. Obviously, we'd like to see more of those deep shots and the speed utilized. But I like that he's becoming more comfortable in this offense, and I like that he's like truly standing out as like a leader in that receiving room in general. So, okay, let's go ahead and wax poetic about this defense. And obviously, they started to slump towards the end. But Steve Spagnuolo and his defense was pitching a shutout 2 quarters in, and the only time they were moving the ball was one kickoff return, I think. Other than that, the offense could not string a bunch of good drives together to score until that third quarter when they started to really delivering some knockout blows. But of course, the Chiefs were able to match them and come out ahead. But what did you guys think about this defense, and who did you like the most?
Yeah, so I mean, the defense I think played good enough today. I don't think the defense is nowhere near playing at the level they were playing at the beginning of the year. I know the score is only saying 17 was the point total allowed, but it felt like a ton more. Being that we've seen this defense play at a super duper, a way higher level than this, really probably hold a team like this to like 7 points. But however, I did like what I seen from the defense, really getting some pressure on Herbert, even hitting him a couple times. I know Mahomes got hit a lot, but for the Chargers line to be as good as they are, and for the Chris Collinsworth and Tirico to be doting over them like they were letting Justin Herbert get touched an awful lot back there. So I just want to take my hat off to the defensive line and what I seen from them. But particularly, I just want to give a shout out to Trent McDuffie. He is all over the place, bro. Like I said, they called him out over these past couple games. He was somebody that's an all-pro. We harp on Trent McDuffie being our number one corner. And people was like, he never made. He's basically had some bad games, a bad stretch of games, and that's how it can be for corners. You have good games and you have bad games. Sometimes you get got, and he's gotten got these past couple games. But he decided to come back and show up today, making some key stops on third down, getting some key breakups on the flea flicker. Trent McDuffie had his handprints all over the game. I just want him to get the ball thrown to him in kind of like a no man's land, and him to get an interception. He needs his first career pick. He's done everything that a corner can possibly do besides get an interception. So hats off to Trent McDuffie and what I've seen from the overall defense. And I love seeing them getting that pressure. It was an awful lot of pressure, like I said, for that line to be as good as they were. And Mr. Alt, one of our former players' sons, to be playing on the offensive line, a first-round pick that we kind of coveted over too.
Yeah, overall the performance was good enough. Early on in the game, I think it was obvious that we were very aggressive. We was going after Herbert. We was getting that pressure as well too, and even was able to knock him out the game as well. I knew that we were going to give up. My score prediction, I gave them 21 points. So when they got that score in the second half, I was like, yeah, this was one of the ones that they were going to give up. But that the interception call on Justin Reed, I know a lot of people might say like, oh, that was obvious, but yeah, it was somewhat questionable because it wasn't really as much contact, and then it's just him getting his head laid back. But I do appreciate him trying to, like, of course, play it off like he was playing for the ball. But other than that, they did what they had to do. They got him off the field on third down. They put him in situations where they had to pay from 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, and that's what you want to do. Especially that's what Spags like to do for his defense. I think just what hurt us overall in the second half, we got away from pressure. We wasn't going after Herbert after that, and once he had top in the pocket, sitting there for 7 seconds, being able to dial it up and find an open man downfield, that's what helped them, of course, have a better outing in that second half. But when it comes down to it, I think they're going to figure out what they're going to do with the secondary going forward. I saw a little bit better communication throughout as well, too, especially when Joshua Williams was out there. And then, of course, they had to bring in Najee Johnson in the second half after he got hurt. So I think, of course, with them saying that they're going to be talking with Steven Nelson Monday, Chiefs fans, he's probably going to be back. And, I know Lonnie, he hates him. But he was looking good with Pittsburgh and Houston. So this might be something that Kansas City like. I know we've been just trying to band-aid and put stuff together, but I will applaud and say that they've been doing their best to try to keep this going and keep this team somewhat intact. But with what I saw, at least with it being 17 points, I think what we view when we watch it, they are doing great, right? When we feel like it's more than 17 or 19 is they score in bunches when they, kind of get hot. Early on in the season, they got that, they got that 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns, and after that, it quiet off. But more in situational situations. Now we're giving up the score when we don't want it, right? So I think that's what making it look as bad. But they doing what they have to do. They're doing enough. It's only a few times where we gave up a lot of points to the opposing offense. So I think they're doing what they can with what they have for this season, especially dealing with the situations and the injuries that they had to work out with as well too. But in this game, they did enough. Now we'll see what they do next week against not Deshaun Watson, but Jameis Winston and the Browns, and they should do enough again. But as time goes on, I think just as the season comes together and those young guys getting more reps, they're trying to get them prepared for the postseason. So I can at least accept that and work with that. But hopefully they can figure it out. But yeah, shout out to Trent McDuffie. A lot of people like to give him a lot of us talking, saying that he's not doing as great as he did last season. Well, when you're going up with more number one guys and everything like that, you're going to be targeted a little bit more. So when you target it a little bit more, it's going to be a little bit more receptions and a couple touchdowns scored on you as well. But what are you doing throughout the game? Are they trying to go after you as much? And they're not trying to attack Trent McDuffie like that.
I'm giving it to Tershawn Wharton and that defensive line in general. They could stand at a couple more guys. We got all hyped about Josh Uche, and he's inactive for this game. But Charles Omenihu is slowly making his way back into the rotation. I think the Chiefs just need to use as many bodies as possible because it's the edge rush that needs to be cleared up. But that interior defensive line, obviously, Chris Jones leads the pack, but Tershawn Wharton was no second fiddle tonight. And for the most part, he always flashes on and off the screen when he makes a play. So I'm giving it to him, and also kind of shouting out the rest of the defensive line. They were bringing the pressure, and as Rod stated in the chat, the Chargers have those tackles that we've talked about in the last post game that they're able to draft with their draft choice because they are that bad enough of a team that they can get a good enough player who plays left tackle and is that high up in the draft. The Chiefs are not in a position where they could take a player of Joe Alt or Rashawn Slater's caliber, or let alone be able to get to pick number 5 in the draft to find a player of that caliber. So, like as I said, the Chargers have a good tackle pair, but it was the interior of that offensive line that got feasted on this game, and Tershawn Wharton was a big part of that. So, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. What is your final takeaways for this Chiefs-Chargers win? And as we've stated, the Chiefs will travel to Cleveland and take on the Browns next Sunday at noon Arrowhead time. So quick turnaround, but another opponent that, of course, fans and Chiefs alike will take lightly and assume they will not be able to hang with the Chiefs and then be able to hang with the Chiefs and cut it close. But what are your overall thoughts about Chiefs-Chargers and the position that the Chiefs find themselves in going into Week 15?
Yeah, so I'm excited, happy, not excited, but satisfied with the win. Happy that we won the division. I'm excited for what's to come with the Chiefs as far as for moving further into the season and to wrap the season up. Hopefully we can get some guys healthy coming down the stretch here. Hopefully DJ Humphries can stay healthy, and we don't have to put somebody like Wanye back in there or try and have to find somebody else to rotate in and out. But satisfied with the overall Chiefs victory. Tired of being the cardiac kids, but if we have to sit on the edge of our seats to another Super Bowl and a three-peat, something that the world hasn't seen before, then I'm willing to do that. So I'm happy that we won. 12-1 is the record, unblemished. Wipe it off and keep moving. So love what I see from the Chiefs. Take the win.
Got away with a dub. That's all you can ask for. We was able to clinch the division. All right, clinch the playoff. We in a driver's seat for the first place in this 1 seed. Maybe not be the may not be the win that we want or the blowout that we are looking for, but at the same time, at least this team has shown green and they always find ways to win. The stretch that we got coming up is going to be one of the toughest, and a lot of teams are not even doing this. What the Chiefs have even done in previous years. I mean, we won a Super Bowl, got deep into the playoffs, and we about to have a 10-game stretch, and then being able to have those wins as well too, and already put ourselves in that place. We're gonna see how this goes. So you got Browns on Sunday, Texans on Saturday, and then you coming back on Wednesday. This is going to be a tough stretch, and two of those teams are playoff teams as well too. So if the Chiefs are able to overcome that, I think that's just going to definitely, show that, hey, this dynasty is something that to not be messed with, and we can get through any tough times. But great win today, and that put us in position to where, like, hey, we'll see if we drop one sooner or later, but we control our destiny going forward. So great job for the Chiefs.
Agreed. My final thoughts: this was an intense matchup, as I assumed it would be. I did not expect it to be as much of a defensive slugfest, though. I had a hunch that the defensive lines would dictate this game, and it turned out to be that way. The Chiefs were able to escape, and they were able to win a tough divisional matchup and claim that AFC West title and do something historic for them. And hopefully the end of the season can be historic as well. And obviously, if there's any fight promoter out there or somebody who's got contact information, because Rod from Red Kingdom Media wants to box Matt Nagy for the right to be Chiefs offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. If we can get that happen, hopefully before the playoffs start, that way Rod can get in there and get those tweaks in so the Chiefs can officially get their three-peat, because it's very clear that Rod does not have that much faith in Mr. Nagy. So that is all the time we have for this edition of the Red Kingdom Media Live postgame show. For those of you who joined us live, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this late Sunday night, as we have a little bit of more time before you officially have to pivot to a Victory Monday and get on with your week. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening as it stands right now, and good luck getting through this Chiefs week, and make sure to stay up to date with all that content, as we got stuff coming at you basically every day coming this week. So I hope you all enjoy, get some sleep out there, but stay strong and get ready for a tough week ahead. And as always, go Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.